Sony's A7 V was released in December last year to a fair amount of negativity, but was it deserved? Well, I borrowed one from Sony for 3 weeks to find out, and it's actually a lovely camera.
Is it groundbreaking? Not at all. Is it missing things which the competition has? Absolutely. But what it does very well indeed. And the importance of those things that it is missing is really going to come down to your specific needs.
It's been 4 years since the A7 IV came out, and the A7 V has been one of the most anticipated Sony camera releases for some time, well, other than the potential A7S IV and FX3 too.
The A7s are Sony's baseline for their alpha cameras. The R is for resolution, latest being the R5. The S is for video and the exceptional low light performance, the latest one is the A7S III, which is actually coming up to 6 years old. And the C is for compact.
All the Sony Alphas are hybrid cameras, and the photo part of the A7 V has definitely improved over the 4. Whilst it's the same 33 megapixel resolution as its predecessor, the sensor is new and now partially stacked, giving it a much faster readout speed and the ability to shoot photos up to 30 frames per second. The inclusion of the Autofocus AI chip also makes this function a lot better. It's a similar story with the autofocus in video. With the AI chip, first seen in the A7R5, it's the best video autofocus that I've used in any camera. And that readout speed, making that rolling shutter much better, is a hugely welcome improvement. It's one of the things I like the least about the A7 IV. Handheld was always a bit wobbly with that camera, now it's so much better. The stabilization is the best that I've seen from a Sony. It's not anywhere near as good as my Lumix S1 II, but it is very good. It has the standard IBIS, active, and the dynamic active, which was first seen in the ZV-E1, which works very well, but at the cost of a substantial crop. Despite that, I do use it quite a lot, especially when I'm shooting on a longer lens. So is there anything truly new in this camera? Anything that we've not seen in a Sony before? I don't think so. What it does have is almost every new feature that has been added to previous Sony cameras.
Other than 8K video, which is only in the A7R5 and Alpha 1, Alpha 2, the only things we're missing really from all the features that we see across the cameras is dedicated to the FX line. So that is Cine EI mode in S-Log3 and anamorphic desqueeze, which is still only in the FX cameras from Sony.
The video quality of the A7 IV has always been highly rated due to it being oversampled from 7K. This gives it more detail than the FX3 and the A7S III in 4K and the FX6. The A7 V has the same superb detail due to it being the same megapixels.
The other main thing that people complained about with the A7 IV, me included, was that the 4K 50p 60p crops to APS-C mode. Thankfully, the 5 doesn't do that, and it fixes it in a very interesting way.
So if you go into 4K 50p or 60p, you will get a 1.1 times crop, which is much better than the 1.5 times of the A7 IV. But if you turn on AVP, which is not Alien vs Predator, but Angular View Priority, you can now shoot in this frame rate and resolution without a crop. To do this, it has to turn off high ISO noise reduction, which is great. I'd like to be able to turn it off completely, but at least the Sony noise reduction is actually pretty subtle. Unlike the super heavy one in the Nikon ZR's H.265 and ProRes HQ and Log, which I've made a dedicated video about.
So other than the noise reduction being turned off, are there any other catches to shooting in this mode? Is anything disabled? Well, not that I can see. You still have the ability to shoot in dynamic active stabilization, you still have breathing composition, and still can shoot in clear image zoom, which is fantastic. In fact, the clear image zoom on this camera is great, same as we have on cameras from I think the last 3 years, because they have the full autofocus functionality in them.
The A7 V can now also shoot in 4K at 100 frames per second and 120 frames per second, which is up from the Full HD of its predecessor. There is a pretty big crop though, which is about 1.8 times, although the angle of view priority again helps it with this, bringing it down to 1.5 times APS-C, which is great. It does 240 frames per second in Full HD, and it's still soft like we've seen in all the other Sonys, but that is full frame. Dynamic range seems really good. I haven't done any specific tests. Obviously go to Cine D and Gerald Undone for those. Is it any better? I think they say it is slightly.
If one of the things you were hoping would be added, the open gate recording, then I'm afraid you are going to be disappointed because it doesn't have it, just like every other Alpha and FX camera. In fact, the only Sony that I know of that has it is the Venice 2. Maybe the Burano does, but definitely the Venice 2. And that's a different price bracket. And I do think they should add it. I mean, I don't personally use it very often, but on the cameras that I do have it, it's nice to be there for anamorphic filming, but also if I do want to reframe in post, and if I do need to shoot some vertical video at the same time, maybe. The S1 II from Panasonic is the camera that I have that has that, as well as actually my Fuji XH2S. Yeah, that has it too. So they do need to add it, really. I don't know when they're going to do it, or if they're going to do it, but I think they really should at some point soon. Do I think it's a big problem that this camera doesn't have it? No, I don't think so at all. It just would be nice if it had.
I've got quite a few cameras and lenses to test and review right now. It's been incredibly hard to do because it's rained almost every day this year, and I don't do rain. The sun has only properly showed its face the day I finished editing this video, so I had to delay it to go and get some nice sunny shots, which you've seen. Had it not come out, the only sunny shots should have had in this video would have been these from the sponsor of this video, Storyblocks. I've used them for years, back when they were called video blocks, and they've helped me out of a hole countless times. Not just for video clips, but also for sound effects. And they've also got music, templates, images, and more. And everything is 100% royalty-free and pre-cleared, so there's nothing to worry about when uploading your video. For a single predictable subscription cost, you get unlimited downloads from the more than 6 million assets in the Storyblocks library. So to get started, head here or click the link in the description. Something that I'm really happy to see is the high base ISO is now 8000, up from 3200 on the 4. The low base is still 800.
16,000, 20,000, 25,600, 32,000, 40,000, right now, 51,200, 64,000, 80,000, 102,400. It's as high as we can go.
But it's not true dual base, as 8000 does have a bit more noise than 800, but it's pretty close. This is just 2/3 of a stop lower than the high base of 12,800 that the A7S III, FX3 and FX6 has, and that's really impressive. I reviewed the Sony FX2 last year, and whilst I liked a lot about it, due to having either the same or very similar sensor and processor to the A7 IV, with that same slow rolling shutter and 4K 50p 60p crop, it did feel like a missed opportunity. I really felt that they should have just waited until the A7 V had been released and used that sensor, hoping that it was going to be much better. Yes, and it is. The FX2 would have been so much better if it had this new sensor in. A much more compelling purchase. So I guess we'll have to wait for the FX2 II then? Funny name. Unlike the FX2, we thankfully have the multi-angle LCD screen that's seen in the A7R5, I think. It flips, it tilts, it folds in. I love it. Heat management is also improved. I recorded until my battery ran out in 4K 60p continuously, which is over 2 hours. And that's a massive improvement over the A7 IV.
The A7 V, like all the other Sony cameras, still has no H.265 way of recording in 25p and 30p 4K. Don't know why, because it does 24p, it does 50p, it does 60p. But why not those other two frame rates? They're important frame rates. For me, 25p is what I shoot everything in. So why? I have no idea. It's not any of them. Other brands, of course, all have this. It is bizarre, and it's a really nice way of shooting in the frame rates that it does do it, because the quality loss is none, and the file sizes are smaller. Is there a reason? Sony, if there's a reason, leave it in the comments.
Price-wise, it's similar to both the Lumix S1 II and Canon R6 Mark III. Both are superb cameras and have overall superior video features, although the A7 V does do some things better. I haven't personally tested a Canon. I'd like to, because it looks like a beast. Of course, one of the biggest selling points of buying a Sony camera is the huge number of fantastic lenses available, both Sony and third-party ones. This is where both the Lumix and especially the Canon just can't compete. As an owner of a Canon R5 II, I am still enormously frustrated at their blocking of full-frame third-party lenses.
The A7 V is a very solid camera from Sony. It does everything you want from it very well. But it isn't particularly exciting, basically because we've seen everything before in other cameras, and maybe that's why we had so much negativity about it when it came out, which isn't fair because it is a very good camera indeed.